Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. My name is Alexis and I am a transgender woman and I share my life and stories on social media. And today I'm going to talk about how I figured out that I was a transgender woman. If this is something you want to learn about, maybe you're interested in it, I don't know, let's just dive right into it. Just as a prerequisite for the video, I'm going to talk about things like really girly things like makeup, clothes, hair, dolls, kids' toys, kids' TV shows, and all things that I explored my femininity in, let's say. And I don't want anyone to think that I think those things make up a girl and then into a woman, because obviously I don't think that's the case at all. I'm just going to talk about my experiences, my story, and hopefully it might help someone out there if you're struggling with your gender, because I know how much of an internal battle it is to figure out who you are, and then you think, oh great, I've figured out who I am, that's amazing, and then you have the whole transitional journey. You also have to find self-acceptance, which is one of the hardest things I struggled with. So, going back to when I was a little kid, a little boy, whatever, I naturally gravitated towards really feminine things, girly toys, makeup and hair and the clothes. I tried to emulate what I saw my mum and my grandma, my sister doing. That was just so natural to me. And obviously going back, this is the 90s, early noughties. Was a little bit of a different time. Trans people, it wasn't widely spoken about, it wasn't in popular culture, it wasn't on TV and movies and books. You didn't hear or see much about it. So I had no outside influence whatsoever. All of my friends as kids, I had girl and boy friends. Naturally was more friends with girls as well. That was maybe a little sign. Also, one more thing, if I say something like, I liked having my nails painted as a kid, if you're a boy, that doesn't necessarily mean you're trans. That just means you have femininity within you want to explore it. These are just little Easter eggs along the way, if you will. So, where was I? I was emulating people around me. Like my grandma, she used to sleep in rollers at night, and whenever I saw her with rollers in, I had to have them in my hair immediately. Even though I only had 3 tufts of hair, they were in my hair. And it's just because I think as kids, when you look at grown-ups around you, you want to be them, you learn from them. So I wasn't looking at my dad and my granddad and my older brother. I was ignoring all of that, and I was just mainly focusing on the women in my life. I started to play with my sister's dolls. No one bought me a doll to begin with. I just grabbed my sister's and I was like, cars, not for me. I'm going to play with dolls. So I played with a lot of dolls, and over the years, my mum and grandparents did buy them for me because I just loved them. I just loved the whole thing, playing house and everything like that. Whenever I played house as a kid, I was always the mum. Even though I was a little boy, I was always the mum. So fast forwarding a little bit, I get to high school and I'm about 12 years old. I was always very flamboyant. If you've ever noticed, I use my hands a lot when I talk. That's always been a thing. It all just pointed in maybe one direction. Maybe I was just going to be an effeminate gay man, which is what a lot of people thought in my family. But it was a little bit more than that. It was mainly when puberty hit. That's when the... That's when things just took a turn. Because before that, I obviously knew boys and girls, but I didn't fully know the difference as a little kid. I didn't comprehend the difference. But then when I hit puberty and I learned about puberty and I saw my body starting to develop in a way that I was really, really uncomfortable with, that's when things started to change for me. And it went from, I like girly things and dressing up as a girl, to I am not in the body that I was supposed to be in. What is going on? Body hair, for instance. The trauma. I hated body hair, and when it started to grow in places like here and my legs and everything, did not like it at all. I also want to point out as well, some people might not know that they're trans until they're 40 years old and have no clue, be super masculine. I just don't want anyone to think there is a right or wrong way to be trans and to transition. Everyone's journeys and lives and stories are different. You don't have to like feminine things to be a trans woman, and you don't have to like masculine things to be a trans man. So puberty started, wasn't a fan, not gonna lie. And I could see my female friends all developing in a way that I was like, why am I not changing like that? That's what I should be doing. And that really bothered me. And it got to a point where I was getting quite bullied, I'll not lie. I was wearing makeup to school. Not as much as this, but a little bit less than this, but I was wearing very noticeable makeup because it's how I felt good. I felt comfortable that way. And it felt natural for me to do that with all my girlfriends. But I got to one point where I was like, something's not right. I shouldn't feel this disconnected. It's like my brain and body were two separate entities and they've been smushed together and they were going against each other. And that was the difficult part. My brain's like, wait, we shouldn't be having short haircuts. But then my body would be taking me to the barbers to get all my hair shaved short because that's what all the other boys were doing. I thought, this will make me fit in better. So it was like, it was very difficult on that sense. So one night I thought, right, what is going on? I'd never heard of trans people. I think I was about 14, maybe 15, but I think 14, I can't remember. I was like, what's going on? Got on my laptop with the slowest internet ever, and I just Googled, I feel like a girl, but I'm a boy. What's going on? An article came up about a girl from Germany, I think. I was reading the article and it's like, she likes playing with me, and they were calling her she, which I couldn't believe because she was born a boy. And I was like, oh my gosh, these people in this article are calling her a she. And she was growing her hair and wearing girl clothes and she changed her name. I was like, it blew. If you could have seen my face that night, I was like, what? This is a thing? Why has no one told me this is a thing? So I was reading and the more I read, I was like, oh, this is it. This is who I am. Is this me? Part of me knew that because this wasn't spoken about in school by the elder people in my life, on TV and movies and books, I kind of thought, no one's talking about this. Is this bad? Is this wrong? Should this be something shouldn't be doing? But in this article, it wasn't celebrating that she was trans, but it was just giving her story. And I'd learned now what transgender actually meant and what it was. So I started to play with my friend's clothes and I went and bought an outfit and I bought a wig and I felt amazing in it. It just clicked. But the thing that I struggled with, I thought, wait, this is probably not what I want because it feels icky, it feels wrong. And that wasn't me. How do I explain this? So picture it. I put on a girl's outfit and a wig and my friend did my makeup and I think I was about 15 and I felt incredible. However, in the back of my head, something was saying, you should not be doing this. This is so wrong. Stop it. And that was all of my inbuilt and taught transphobia, I guess. So inside my brain, there was a battle going on because I very much liked it, but something was telling me it was wrong. And that's why I really struggled at that age to figure out if this is something I wanted. Came out to friends and family, very, very immediate, close people who I could trust. And I got put into young people therapy, counselling, to talk about it with someone who knew more about it. Over months and months and months, we got to the conclusion that yes, I did have gender dysphoria, and yes, I was trans. And I was about to start transitioning. After several months of counselling when I was 15, I just was like, it's going to hurt so many people, my life's going to be so difficult. No, I can just deal with being a gay man, and that's what I did for 12, 13 years. Until I came to the realisation one day where I'd put it off, I'd made excuses, money, I'll never pass, it's too difficult, no one will love me, all of the excuses you can think of I found. And then one morning I woke up and went, this is something you actually have to deal with now, because if you don't, you're not going to live a truly, truly happy life. Yes, no one's life is perfect and we all have the speed bumps along the way, but it just felt like I was existing and I wasn't really living, if that makes sense. I was trying to find all these things to make me happy. When I was younger, at like 18 to 21, I would just go out drinking all the time because it was exciting. It was filling some sort of hole inside of me. And then as I got older and I became a dancer, I was like, oh, I need this job, I need to be here, I need to be on that cruise ship, I need to be doing this job and living this life and proving myself to the world over and over again. And proving myself to me that it was enough. And it just, I got to a point where I was like, this is not enough anymore. I have to do this. There was always these little signs of me having a femininity within me naturally. I wasn't forcing it. It wasn't being pushed onto me. If anything, not my family, but the world around was being like, no, it's not right. You shouldn't be doing that. But I was like, no, I like it. So I don't want to say against all odds because that's very dramatic, but against all odds, I was still pushing to show my innate femininity, even though it was judged and it wasn't normal. And that's why I think it took me so long to accept who I was, because I agreed with the people that were like, you shouldn't be doing that, that is wrong. And I agreed with that for a really long time. Being uncomfortable in your body, especially when puberty hits, that is a sign. Loving things that go with the gender that you think you are, that is another sign. And again, if you are an older person and you have been living as a man for 45 years, loving football and sports and all things masculine, that doesn't mean you're not necessarily trans, because if you look at all women, not all women are feminine, not all women love makeup and hair and clothes. Gender is such a huge spectrum, and there's so many different types of people in every category, and that's what makes the world so interesting. So you don't have to be super feminine to be a trans woman, and you don't have to be super masculine to be a trans man. It really isn't like that. It's just about how you want the world to see you. So when I was going through puberty and my voice was dropping and I started to grow facial hair, I was starting to get seen as a man, and that really bothered me. It felt like I was wearing a costume all the time, and people only could see the costume, they couldn't see me that was inside it. And that's what it kind of felt like, that everyone was talking to me and responding to me and reacting to me as if I was this boy turning into a man. But in actual fact, that's not how I felt in here. A lot of it comes from soul searching, a lot of it comes from therapy and researching, and not always jump into the easiest answer. Oh, I like having my nails done too, I'm a girl. No. It has to be something that you really, really think about and dig deep in yourself to find out who you really are. Oh, we're getting very deep. Sorry, guys. One person who's on YouTube who I can recommend, and who it actually really helped finally get the click in me, where I was like, okay, this is who I am. I'll tag her in the description. Her name is Dr. Z, PhD. She's a gender specialist, gender psychologist, and she talks a lot about gender and how it works in the brain and everything like that. And her videos are very, very interesting. Her videos really, really helped me figure out who I was. I watched a video of hers, and she said, a simple question to ask yourself: do you feel like a woman, or do you want to be a woman? And that's where the final sort of puzzle piece was slotted in for me, because I want to be one. Scientifically speaking, I understand. Biologically, I was born a male, and that can't be changed. I can transition. I can be seen as a woman by the world, but that will never change, and I'm okay with that. It's something I've come to terms with myself. But hearing that statement, I was like, oh, I want to be a woman. I want that. That's what I want to be happy. And I knew it was going to be difficult. And I've spoke about all the challenges trans people face. It's not something you go into easy breezy, thinking everything can be reversed next week, because hormones change your body. Some ways very, very much permanently. It can be expensive. The toll it can put on people around you. There's so many things that go into it, but if it's what you really need to be truly happy and live your authentic self from in here, that's how you just have to figure it out. Because I think for a long time I was making the decision not to transition with my head, because it was so easy, because I could just think of a reason like that why I shouldn't do it. But in here it was just like, no, hun. This is something you need to do to be happy long term. It's a big blooming thing to transition. Okay, I'm going to stop waffling on now. I hope this helps anyone. find themselves, or I don't know, or understand a bit more, because it's a huge complex thing to figure out and think about. I'm gonna go now. Now I've gone on and on at you guys, and I hope you have a lovely day, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.